Yeah, welcome back, kings and queens. We're back again, and as usual, we're going to the Miwa case to see what sense can we make out of it. But first of all, let's just like the live, and please comment, subscribe. If you're not subscribed, hit that notification bell so that when I drop more content like this, you get notified. Now, I'm just going to make a little turn at the Madlanga Commission just to find out what was going on today. And Mr. Madlanga, Judge Madlanga is slowly cooking the frog. He's slowly now, they're slowly bringing up the pace, because these 2 days, it was kind of smooth for Sbiya, because he came with a pile of documents. First of all, his CV was long, and then now his evidence is long, and he made a concerted effort to try to address all of the allegations against him, even denying that he was not getting any money from Madlanga. Now, today, he got pinned. He got pinned to accept that on the face of it, he had to admit that some dockets will be into the repository. That means they will be held up, and then by being held up like that, that means it's going to affect some of the cases that were being investigated. So he had to admit that, but he was not agreeing at all, and in fact, he's looking for accolades, if I can put it that way, to say that the chairman must congratulate him, say you did fail. Like, just listen to him. But according to me, he's not winning here. He is being cornered, and it's just hard for him to accept it. Let's go.
Accept that this was meaningless, because storage of the dockets automatically meant that investigations had to come to a halt. Put differently, disruption of investigations was inevitable. Do you accept that?
No, Chair.
Yes, please explain.
Chair, considering the fact that this docket were not meant to be withdrawn and be stored, and nothing should happen any further. It was meant for the handing over, and when the handing over is happening, those dockets that are in the process of being handed over are kept in a safe space where no one can say, I don't know what happened to that docket or that docket. Now, as General Sintumula said, they were meant to be in transit back to KZN without any waste of time. They were meant to go back. Now, I'm giving this example in a sense that when we conduct an inspection, we are able to call for a docket. We're doing docket inspection. For that week, the officials from head office are at a particular province. They are doing docket inspection. In other words, when they do docket inspection, is when they come and the docket are being put in front of them and they go through the dockets. At that point in time, the investigation is halted, and because dockets are being inspected or audited. The idea here was just to make sure that nothing falls in between the cracks, and it doesn't happen that we don't know where's the other docket, but also to proper account of the docket in such a way that when you receive a docket, you go through the docket, you make sure that as you inspect what you are being given and you read the investigation diary, you can account for each and every statement that is, according to the diary, should be in the docket, in such a way that you don't find yourself now being given a docket that you think this docket was actually fully investigated. In the meantime, some statements are missing, and this is what was found to be the case. So
This is just a pile of rubbish, man. You are giving dockets. He's talking about dockets that are going to stay at the office. They're going to be locked in. So how can it be that they are being investigated? And he cannot compare that to some dockets that are just being investigated, like inspected on that day. The inspectors came and come and inspect, and then they find, okay, this is fine, this is fine, this is fine, then they put it aside. An investigating officer can investigate with a copy while the dockets are being inspected, and even besides that, they can be inspected and the investigator can proceed with the work. It's just a day. So his situation was to put them at his office for some time. So it's not going to be the same. Just let's listen some more, and then I'll go to the Miwa case where Mshololo was busy cross-examining accused number 2.
So that is why you have to, I had to say, just make sure that whilst these dockets are in your hands, they are safely stored where they need to be safe.
General, you've already accepted, and I deliberately made you say correct all the way down. You have already said that it is correct that during the time of storage, detectives would not have access to the dockets.
Listen to the smartness of this time. This SS, Mr. Madlanga, is too smart. Just listen to what he did to Sbiya. And Sbiya didn't see the trap that he was being slowly and snared in. He asked him these questions so that he can agree first. And then later, now Sbiya is going to try to turn back on his own. Let's just listen some more.
Is correct. Is that correct?
This right here is where great ideas go to die. Not because they were bad ideas, but because the person who had them couldn't build them. We're past that
Now, if that be so, that must result in disruption, however long or short. It must result in disruption of the investigative process. Not so.
It is correct, Chair. It is so. Unfortunately, yes. It is part of the process.
It must be so. Now, did you at the time of putting together your implementation plan know how long it would take between the time of the storage and the time of the return of the dockets? Did you have any idea at that stage?
We had an idea, and the idea was that it must move from this signature to this signature and be redistributed immediately, not for the docket to be stored.
But did you have any idea how long the process would take? Bear in mind, we are talking 121 dockets. Did you have any idea how long the process would take? At the time?
The process could take 3 days to a week, Chair, because this is what we do every day, inspection of dockets. And when you give me now 120 dockets to inspect, I can inspect the 120 dockets in 3 days or in 2 days. That is doable. And then for the dockets then to be sent back to KZN or as it was intended to be.
General, you say you do inspections of dockets every day. You have never called for 181 dockets at the same time for inspections, have you? Remember a few answers back, you said that I can call for a docket to inspect it. You have, I would imagine you have never called for 121 dockets for inspection, all at the same time, have you?
I want to respond to the chair.
Yo. Well, Chase, if you hear him say, oh, it's because this answer is kind of difficult for him to come up with. He never did that. This was something new. So how is he going to answer that? Obviously, he was onto something else, ulterior motives, other than trying to do whatever he's trying to say he was doing here, just holding them for a few days. He can't even tell us how many days he had planned to hold this docket. And he did something there which is kind of, I don't know. He recorded that lady, Sintumule, another general Sintumule, and then he exposed her here. They're exposing each other, and we are thankful for that day that Mkonasi went up to the mic and said, enough is enough. Now, we want to hear a lot about what was happening behind the scenes in these head offices of the cops. Garbage was going on there. Let's go.
Let's take it that, Chair, when I say I mean my team. Now, they have inspected more than, remember, Chair, there's a person who will have 200 dockets or 300 dockets to inspect. So we have called more than 121 dockets before to inspect. When we go out there inspecting docket, there are people who's got 600 dockets on hand, 500 dockets on hand. And as we normally send team out to go and inspect, these are the dockets they're inspecting on a daily basis. So it does not necessarily mean that when I inspect 400 dockets, it means that I say I will complete the whole 400 today. But as I'm here, because we send them for them to be there, and they will be there for 3 weeks sometimes, inspecting dockets per province.
But the crucial thing, though, is your admission that during the time of storage, investigations would be disrupted. You've accepted that.
I do.
Thank you. That's all that I wanted to establish. I'm going to move to a second point, which I also think would have disrupted investigations. Now, you say in paragraph 84.3.8, PKTT members would be reassigned to other units within SAPS in consultation with General Sintumule. I understand that to mean, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, I understand that to mean that they would no longer necessarily be allocated the dockets that they were investigating within the PKTT, correct?
That is correct, Chair.
So that must mean that new investigators would now be assigned to those dockets, or new detectives, correct?
It may mean that, but on the other hand, Chair, when we're talking about court-going cases.
No. Let's leave out court-going cases. Let's talk about those that still require the investigation before they go to court.
They will be reassigned.
They would be reassigned.
That is correct, Chair.
Do you accept that a new detective would first have to take time to get used to the content of the docket before they actually start investigating? Is that correct?
It is correct, Chair.
And some of the dockets could easily not have been as flimsy as that, but quite thick and complex in terms of content, correct?
It is correct, Chair.
So it would have taken quite a bit of time for a new detective to acclimatize themselves with the content of the docket. And indeed, not just the content, also broadly what the investigation was about, correct?
It is correct, Chair. However, Chair, I just want to say the three questions that the Chair asked, I said, and I kept them short to say correct.
Because you had to.
But there is explanation to that, Chair.
I haven't once stopped you from giving explanations.
No, I'm trying not to. I've been advised to keep it short and respond to the Chair immediately.
Let me ask the question again. I'm saying some dockets, I'm sure, would have been quite complex in terms of content and in terms of the investigation required. And that would have taken the detective quite some time to get used to that content and to know what next steps to take in the investigative process. Is that correct?
No, Chair.
Yes, what is correct?
Why I'm saying no, Chair, is that in the police, we lose members every day, every month, in terms of the attrition, natural attrition. It is a standard practice. It is a well-known fact that members get transferred. Members, some of them, they leave their dockets because they are assigned to the task teams, and you will have number of dockets. It's just like when you just get appointed today, they load you with 120 dockets. Or what will happen, Chair, is that to get the first docket, you read the A1. A1 statement is the complainant statement. They give you the whole background of the case. Now you see the case. And then after that, on A1, then you can see what was the directive of the commander in red pen, and then other statements that were attached. So it's a normal practice, Chair, that it's not really. It is unfortunate, the system and how the system is built and how it works. It does not necessarily mean that only the PKTT. And the last example that I'm going to give the Chair is this one. Remember, Chair, in December they took the dockets that were being investigated by a team from head office. They took all those dockets, the PKTT.
To stop Sbiya here, he explains too much, but he just said that he was advised to cut it short. Now let's jump to our regular case. He got cornered then. There's no way he can explain how he wanted to keep the docket and not waste time of the investigators, right? Let's go to Mshololo, and then we're just gonna go to where Ratha was coming in, always trying to block for the state. Doesn't make sense what he's trying to do, but he's doing it anyway. I think he's trying to get accused just to waste time. I think that's the plan here, because he can't be so blatant with the biasness. Let's go.
Khulumisana nawe tshela khona ke ngazo insolo likutshela ke futhi ukuthi unelungelo lokuthi ke ungasho lutho nokuthi ke uma ukhona ke ongakusho lokho ozokusho kungasetshenziswa ngakuwena nanjengobufakazi enkantolo. Khona yini leso statement lesibathi ke ngesingisi ke warning statement?
Cha nakaza bangitshela lokho.
No, they never told me anything.
Okay. Nokuphuma kwami e-police station akaze ngitshene ukuthi kiyiwaphi.
Because even when we left the police station, I was never informed as to where we were going.
Sorry, are you asking the gentleman whether Rapad showed him a warrant of arrest?
No.
Because it's different from what we had in this office. I'm not saying it's not like that, but the warrant of arrest was never shown by Rapadu. Rapadu's evidence was that he took a confession. Not that the warrant of arrest was never shown to this gentleman, if I recall the evidence. And these warrants of arrest, as the state said, they don't want to read any evidence about their admissibility. And you recall that evidence?
I recall, my lord. I recall, my lord.
Yeah.
My lord, maybe we are not on the same page. At the time when I asked the witness about the warrant of arrest, it was at the time when the police arrested him from his house.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, my lord. So now I have now moved on to ask about the constitutional rights when he was detained. And then after that, I'm now asking about the warning statement, my lord. If there is a warning statement wherein his constitutional rights were explained before he made an election that he wanted to do a confession. That's where I am, my lord. Thank you, my lord. Can I proceed? proceed, ma'am. Do you
This is what Ratha does all the time. Does just come
Do you
in
understand?
and wreck your train of thought, because this is the plan right here. I mean, why would he want to get in when there's cross-examination? And I think he was very quiet when Munisi was, there's something going on there with the fact that when Munisi was doing his cross-examination, he kept very quiet for a long time. And then he tried his tricks, and then Ramasepeli got mad, and then he told him where to get off. He relaxed, and then he tried it again with Ngumalo. Ngumalo showed him as well, nah, bro, no, I'm not taking it anymore. Now we're nearing the end of the case. I have to get serious with it. I'm not going to take it, especially that exchange of yesterday when he was trying to convince Ngumalo something else about the DNA. And I'm happy that Ngumalo did whatever he did there by telling him, no, man, there's no way that you can try to convince us that the DNA is like this when we know what the expert said. Even Baloyi was trying to come up with his own conclusions. And I support the fact that